Hare Krishna. I'm really very honored and I thank especially Yugal Kishore Prabhu and the temple management over here. And I seek blessings of Chintamani Mataji that I may be able to repeat something which I learned over the years and that would be beneficial for all of us in practicing a Krishna consciousness. For whatever reason, we have got this human body, and the purpose of the human body is to do sense gratification. Not that. Is to serve the Lord. Just like how we maintain the car, so it can take us from one destination to another. Similarly, we need this human body to carry on from this material world without trouble and serve the deities. So we can go back home, back to Godhead, and we don't have to care about the material body over there, and there's no Ayurveda there. Okay. So without further ado, we would try to see what I have to say. So we'll do a small exercise. I would like all of you to raise your right hand like this, just like keep it like this, and draw a tree in the air. Okay. Thank you. You can put your hands down. So how many of them started with the roots? Wow. A good number. Thank you. Most of us forgot the roots. So similarly, in the aspect of day-to-day life, wherein we need this body to practice Krishna consciousness, the roots for the physical body is to have a better health. When we compromise on better health, then our services are not rendered properly. So we'll start with a small prayer. Please repeat after me. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jaya mudire Om namami dhanvantri adidevam surasure vandita pada padmam Loka jara bhayamrityunasham Dhataramisham vedaushadhinam Momakyanatinirandasya Jnananjana shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Thank you. So, for past 3 days, I'm trying to give different aspects of Ayurveda. And yesterday, I happened to receive a message from one of Prabhupada's disciples, which I would like to just give a minute. Yeah. So I'm not promoting Ayurveda, but I'm going to play something. Somebody authorized us from said that in my previous life I was a physician and I did not commit any sinful act. He said that only instead of sinful, I killed some snakes, but medicinal purpose. As a
It is right because I had tendency in my childhood play to imitate a musician. I take some medicine and my parents will come and play their pulse. Do some medicine. This is my play. Some powder. No, these are very small child. So I pray that my parents come and they stand. I give them.
So those who couldn't understand, it was Prabhupada who said that he consulted an astrologer and he said Prabhupada was a physician in his past life. And I was just thinking on that, contemplating on that how Srila Prabhupada, he gave us the ultimate medicine, which is Krishna consciousness. And I also remember once, I believe the first set of devotees who had gone to Mayapur with Srila Prabhupada. And since the devotees were not used to the Indian climate, some of them got sick. No, in the second set, when the Mayapur building was being constructed, some devotees were sick and they were literally lying and crawling on the floor with stomach aches and food and other things. And that time there was no doctor available around the place. So Prabhupada told someone to seek a doctor. And the only doctor available was a homeopathic doctor in the nearby place. So the homeopathic doctor came and Prabhupada was going ahead and this doctor was following Prabhupada. And Prabhupada is to point at the devotee. And this doctor is to give some medicine to the devotee. And after taking the medicine, the devotee started feeling better. So as if like Prabhupada, actually he's the one who gave the medications and the devotee got better. Because in my practice, I haven't seen even homeopathic medicines acting within a few seconds, especially if it comes to bed bugs, stomach bugs. So Prabhupada, because of his kind mercy, he was curing people. So Srila Prabhupada, being an Acharya, he not only cured people from their material body, from the material disease, but he also gave us a platform where we can get cured from our spiritual disease. And to help us, Prabhupada establish a system wherein we have a program and very beautiful system of morning programs. Yesterday, I was trying to share how the Ayurvedic aspect, which promotes or which tells us that how important is the day-to-day activities, it could be clearly linked to a morning program and what Prabhupada gave us. So out of the morning program, there's one aspect of coming to Mangalarti or getting up early. So in Sanskrit, it's called as Brahma Muhurta. Does anyone know what's the time frame in modern times when you call it Brahma Muhurta?
1 hour before the sun. Before the sun. 1 to 1.5 hours.
Okay, so to be precise, it's 96 minutes before the sunrise. So Prabhupada said that when you start your day, the Brahma Muhurta, the word itself, it is called as Brahma Muhurta, which means the Muhurta or the time when we should engage or get engaged with the Supreme Lord. And that's what Prabhupada did. He started the morning program for us. So why is so important? Now, since we are in the material world, I'm just going to present some facts. Here it says that Brahma Muhurta is a very crucial time which switch biological clock every day and reboot and regulate the rhythm and pattern of biological clock. So the scripture says that when we sleep at night, we lose our existing body and we get a new body when we are awake. So in the morning when we get new body, the first thing what we do is that we take shower and we engage the same body in remembering the Lord who has given us the body. And that's the time of Brahma Muhurta. And down below, if you can read, it's a scientific explanation given. So once we do this, once we try to practice this, then eventually we set a platform for a healthy mind. And now, since we're talking about the health, about the physical body, we might see the chart over here. It shows you different numbers, which means the modern condition of life or the parameters of life is to see whether my numbers are matched at my lab reports. All of us, we do an annual blood work. Yeah. And if the numbers are not correct, we get stressed out. But more than that, we should get stressed out when our numbers are not correct during the Brahma Muhurta. The chanting is not happening properly. But anyways, we'll take this body to help us to chant properly. So, Ayurveda says what to do for the body. So there is a shloka which says, Abhyanga, applying of oil all over the body during Abhyanga every day will reduce premature aging and keep you young. Reduces tiredness, pacifies Vata dosha, bringing clarity to eyes, nourishes the body, and facilitates sound sleep and makes one's skin healthy. This is the material aspect of application of oil to the body. And what is the spiritual aspect? I'm trying to tell both the aspects of how it works. When you apply oil to the body, it helps to penetrate to the body and starts to reduce the aspect of air in the body, to control it. And what happens when the body is controlled through proper flow of air? You get the ability to breathe properly. For example, let's say if someone is under stress, we need to tell that person, hey, calm down. Right now, all of us are breathing. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. How many of us are focused on the breath? No one. It's just a natural process. So similarly, for a human being to be God consciousness is a natural process. But since, because of the mind, there are so many thoughts, there are so many worries, there are so many aspects where we get diverted and we get disturbed. And Ayurveda says when someone is disturbed, that time the vata or the air in the body gets imbalanced. In Ayurveda, there is a sutra, there is a saying, it says that Kapha Pangu Pitta Pangu Pangava Maladhatava Vayuvayatra Gachanti Tatra Gachanti Megavad. Which means the elements of fire and water in the body, they are dormant, they don't move. The air in the body is so, it causes chaos in one sense. How many of you remember Trinavarta from scriptures? What did Trunavart do? What did he do? What did Trunavart did? Yeah, tornado. So Trunavart, what he did was he tried to take Krishna away from Mother Yashoda or from Vrindavan. And that's what the air in the body also does. It tries to take you away from the Krishna. It cannot take Krishna away from you, so it tries to take you away from Krishna. So when you apply the oil to the body, it makes your body calm down. If you want, you can try this experiment. When you go home, you can fill a glass jar full with ghee, and don't touch it for 1 year. And after 1 year, when you try to touch the the jar of ghee, you will see it become sticky from outside. Which means to say that particular ghee has the ability to travel through the molecular structure of a glass over the year. That means the oil or the ghee, they are so fine that helps for us to be balanced. So in our basic diets, we have greens, sprouted food, fruits and smoothies, dessert after meal. Yeah. So generally when we have breads, it says the right flour is completely stripped out of nutrient values, which virtually no vitamins, minerals, or fat to speak of. So we don't have that lubrication which can keep us calm. Then the greens, dark leafy green vegetables like kale, collard, broccoli, moringa, etc. Extractive. Their qualities are dry, light, and rough, exactly the quality of Vata dosha. Trinavarth represent Vata. It will make you twirl around. Eating too much greens without enough augmenting foods will cause imbalance like gases, constipation, anxiety, and inability to complete tasks, and feeling of persistent coldness will follow soon. This is what happens when you just eat greens and don't walk or don't get physically engaged too much. Sprouted, higher source of protein, that also causes gas, headache, and knee pain if it's not digested properly. So people might say, why you say so? Sprouted, so sprouted food, it's a food which is, something which is just sprouted out of a seed. So that plant has a very good and nutritious value, that particular thing. Since it is just sprouting out, it produces a lot of energy to conserve itself, to preserve itself. But we as humans, when we try to consume it, we are not in a position to digest it properly unless and until we decide to go and serve in the farm for 2 hours, where we sweat naturally. And after coming to Farmington Hills, I don't even sweat. So when these things are not happening properly, it will cause imbalances in the body. Don't we relish this fruits and smoothies? But Ayurveda says have recommended like seasonal fruits avoid wrong combinations. High content of water should be not consumed with grains and they are heavy to digest. I was giving this example the other day when I was in Canton, yeah. The day I came to USA, after a few days, I happened to be to Kroger's, and I took my phone when I was going through the dairy section. I took my phone and had a video call with one of my Ayurvedic doctor friend in India. I didn't say anything. I just went through the dairy section, which had different yogurts mixed with fruits. And after I went through that, I flipped the camera, and the person at the other hand had a very big smile on the face. She said, "Oh my gosh, that means to say you're going to get very many number of patients." Because Ayurveda says that when you combine fruits with yogurt, I mean, if there are some people whom technically you don't like, you should give them this kind of food to them every day. Because these two food combinations are very heavy. So if you can keep yogurt separate from the fruits, that's very easy to digest. But if you combine, that will give multiple complications. Who doesn't love this? But dessert is it slows down the digestion process, anything sweet. It's responsible for accumulation of bad fat after eating and adds additional unabsorbed sugar to the body. How many of us has had the feeling that after you eat let's say 2 or 3 rasgullas or 4 gulab jamuns or 6 pastries, after that you feel like you want to go and lay down and sleep? My God, others, the digestion power is very good. Okay. So they don't eat. Okay. Okay. So anyways, I'll just go into flashback. The days when we were less than 10, less than 5, or less than 15. So generally speaking, when you eat sweet, you tend to feel sleepy. I mean, it's okay, you don't have to raise your hand, but just acknowledge this. And why it happens? Because the amount of sugar is so much, the energy is so much, your body has to withdraw energy from different organs and divert it towards the stomach. So after you take a nap and when you wake up, you feel fresh. So sugar is very hard to digest. Then why we should eat? The purpose of food is to sustain healthy and harmonious functioning of the body system, the physical medium of our life, to enable us to perform our duties towards Lord and His creation. Vedas say we shall regard our body as the residence of our soul and maintain its sanctity and health by observing self-restraint and punctuality in our routine. Isn't this a beautiful picture? Again, you can answer this in your mind. How many of us honor prasadam like this? Okay. So Ayurveda says there are 3 aspects of eating. Hitbuk, which means eat which is nourishing for your health, just not for mere taste. Midbuk, which means eat moderately, only that much which is essential for the sustenance of the vitality and stamina of the body. And Red Book also means eat that which is earned and prepared by the righteous way, means, and also what is suitable in a particular season. Now we listen to our Acharya. Prabhupada says, the real point in that eating is for us maintaining the body, not for luxury or for satisfying the demands of the tongue. But anyways, if anyone has the tendency to eat more, then let him eat more prasadam than any other nonsense. But people forget to read the last line. But eating more is not recommended. Now, I'm not saying this, Prabhupada is saying this. Whereas in the Ayurvedic concept of diet, we have this 6 taste. It's sweet, astringent, pungent, salty, sour, and bitter. So we don't tell you to eat half a pound of salt or half a pound of sweet. If you can balance it, that will nourish the body. Now, then, if we eat too much, this is what happens. Fear of food. And I'll tell you why. Oh, I have diabetes, I cannot eat sweet. I have too much acidity, I can't have lime. Blood pressure, I don't want to take much salt. Bitter, people don't like. And only astringent has not much value. Again, we need to introspect. How many of us prefer just salads which doesn't have much value? Coming back to the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita 15.14. Aham Vaishvanara Bhutva Praninam Deha Ashritam. Someone would like to continue? Yes, please. Pachami Anyam Chaturvidham. So if this translation is not from Bhagavad Gita, but if you read from Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada says that Krishna say, I am the fire of digestion. So this is from the Ayurvedic perspective, and it's been commented by Madhvacharya. So according to Ayurvedic Shastra, we understand that there is a fire in the stomach. We digest all the food sent there. When the fire is not blazing, there is no hunger. And when the fire is in order, we become hungry. Sometimes when the fire is not going nicely, treatment is required. In any case, the fire is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, I would like to elaborate on this point a bit. In this verse, you can see that the first one, it says, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva. So the word Vaishvanar, that represents a form of a deity of Lord Krishna. The name of the deity is Vaishvanar. And this deity resides in your stomach. Just like how Paramatma resides in the heart, this deity of Vaishvanar resides in the stomach. So how do we offer prasad? How do we offer bhoga to the Lord? Do we just throw it? No. We offer it. So if you remember in the early slide, Srila Prabhupada, the way he was honoring prasadam. So we, being devotees, we should be very, very, very careful when we are honoring prasadam. I'm just trying to check like everyone is awake with me. What are the prasadam prayers? Okay. It's not that after this you're going to put prasadam in jail. So there is a word in that, it says, Mahaprasade Govinde, Namani Brahmi Vaishnave, Swalpa Punyam Ratam Rajan, Vishwaso Naiva Jayate. What does it mean? Anyone? Vishwaso Naiva Jayate. Okay, I'll simplify for you. That we should have enough faith or trust or vishwasa in the prasadam what we are eating. that this prasad is offered to Lord and is for my benefit, that will help me to get more closer to be a servant of the Krishna, and it will help me to practice my bhakti in a better way. That's the meaning of that prayer, that word, Vishvasa, faith. So, for devotees, I never tell anyone not to, okay, this is a wrong word to enjoy prasadam. We cannot enjoy prasadam. But what we do?
Honor.
Honor prasadam. And when we honor prasadam, that time we should honor it gracefully, because prasadam is meant to give nourishment to the body and mind as well. But when we eat only for the sake of eating, and we don't consider what it is, then it becomes very difficult. In our scriptures, we have our acharyas who have demonstrated the potency of prasadam. Does anyone remember any one incident like that? Ramanujacharya. What did he do? Yes. Prabhu says he threw few pieces of grains, what was remnants in his hand, in the pond. And when the fish ate it, they took form of Chaturbhuja, like the Vaikuntha residents, and went back to the spiritual world. Now, why doesn't that happen to us? So does it mean that we are born in wrong species? No. The thing is that we don't have sufficient faith. Whereas we focus more on this calories. 600 calories the first meal, second meal 500 calories, third 400, fourth 300, fifth 200. I accomplished my 16 rounds of chanting today, 2000 calories a day. But that's just a value. Ayurveda says that this is not how you measure the food. So I'll just elaborate a bit. The calories are measured from the grain, not from the cooked meal. A payasam would have a different calories than a biryani, or a rice made up of peas, or a yogurt rice. So why should I change the way I eat? Again, we take shelter of Prabhupada. There is no possibilities of one becoming yogi. Oh Arjuna, if you eat too much or eat too little, sleep too much or does not sleep enough. Purport: regulation of diet and sleep is recommended herein for the yogis. Too much eating means eating more than is required to keep the body and soul together. So we can say, no, this is for yogis, not for me. But as a matter of fact, we are also yogis. We are bhakti yogis. So this applies to us also. So this is what Ayurveda says. In a world full of excess, it's better to keep meals 1 or 2 times a day. These 3 meals a day plus all the snacking and social eating is a major cause of disease in a fast-moving society. And if we follow this, we just heard the announcement that the temple is going to extend. So we might save some Lakshmi and Bhoga. No, sorry, I'm okay. But there is a, so the Ayurvedic verse, there is a, you can read the second line, you can see it says, Ajirni samasya paratarsha hi dushyati, which means the food which is not digested properly, that causes entire problem in the body, that causes major diseases. So this is a biological clock for a human being. It tells you what time to do what. And if we try to stick to this, we can keep the body and mind healthy. Yeah, you can take a picture and try to contemplate. Can we go to the next slide?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are the types of food mentioned in Ayurveda. We have cereals. Who says cereal is old? I mean, see, Indian don't have cereals, Indian meals. We have cereals, we have pulses. In fact, we have more category than keto diet. So, if you see, I have pointed out some things which are in the red. So these things, they add more value, and unfortunately, people don't know how to use them, or they use them a lot. So I would just like to go through each of them, especially the one which I read. Fruits. How many of us don't love fruits? You don't love fruit? Okay, good. The majority wins. We are in a democratic country. Others love. So still I'm going to talk on that. So fruits are very nourishing. And fruits are very heavy to digest. You might say, what are you talking about? They are light to digest. Actually, Ayurveda says anything which is not cooked is heavy to digest because it's in the raw stage. Why do we cook grains? Yes. So similarly, fruits, since they cannot be cooked, if you have to consume them, it has to be consumed in a smaller quantity and then in a proper time. So what is the proper time? The proper time is season. You may say, come on, Prabhu, we are staying in the land of free. We can get cantaloupe in the December, or we can get watermelon throughout the year. What are you talking about? And how do we determine it? So the best way to do that is when you go for shopping in the stores, whichever fruit you see different from the other seasons, that means that fruit is seasonal fruit. So we can take that. And nowadays we have like apple ciders. Why there are apple ciders in winters? I mean, when the weather is cold, because the apples are harvested by them and you can consume it. So not only you can see the apples in the store, but you also get apple ciders because there's excess apples. So you can go for that. Like that, there are many. Second is green leafy vegetables. Now, green leafy vegetables, definitely it is a good source of iron, no doubt. But green leafy vegetables alone won't be able to help you much. I'll tell you why. Let's say you buy a bunch of spinach and you buy a bag of rice. You keep on the table and you go for yatra. And you come back. What would be ideal to eat by then? Rice, correct? What about the green leafy vegetable? When you left, it was green. No more. So Ayurveda says that the thing particularly which cannot protect itself, it cannot add value to your life. And not only that, we need to do tapasya. And grains, they do tapasya. When I mean tapasya means, they stand in the sun traditionally, and even now some of them do that. They stand in the sun extracts all the water from that, from a grain of wheat. It becomes dry. So while the sun is extracting water, it doesn't extract because of the sunlight, the seed, the wheat berry, it gets nourishment from the sun for those number of time. I mean, those many days. So that has a very good content of nutrition. So therefore, in the traditionally way of storing food, there's to harvest the grains and there's to store it and consume it the next year. Because by then the food was getting much more nourished, staying in that container. So green leafy vegetables, it's good, but don't take in too much quantity. Then milk and milk products. Isn't this amazing? Just 1 minute. I'll add this slide. Hold on. Just give me a minute. Okay. So I would like to talk something about this. Till now, what we were discussed or what we heard, it was majorly helping the body. Now we are going to talk about what will help the mind. So the scripture says cow ghee promotes memory, intellect, power of digestion, semen, ojas. It elevates vata pitta, toxic condition, insanity, and so on and so forth. Now this is what is supposed to be done, not the other way around. The one what you see on your right, that can be consumed regularly. The one what you see on your left can be consumed occasionally. Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, my right. Okay, I am right. So yeah. So this is a verse from Bhagavatam where it describes about how Krishna was doing, like how he was taking care of the cows. So ghee plays a very vital role for the intellect. If the intellect is sharp, it will help us to go further easily towards our spirituality, because we'll be able to ask what's the right question or what's the right answer for me. We'll know that. So saying this, I would take a pause and I would like to open for any question answers.
It is traditional Western, what they see, you are saying is a bit contrary. They say don't take heat. Western society, they say don't take saturated fats like ghee, and have a lot of fruits and vegetables.
Yeah. So ghee is not saturated fat. In the Western conservative diet, just go few hundred years back, most of the people in America right now, their origin is from Europe. In Europe, there were only two sources of fat. One fat was coming from the oils like olives and others. And the second fat used to come from animals. So the fat which was coming from animals was converted into saturated fat. So ghee, when it gets frozen, it looks like saturated fat. But there's a scientific research done by Harvard. I can share it with you. Ghee doesn't have any saturated fat. As a matter of fact, I have, in my practice, I have made people lose weight feeding them ghee. And one of my patients, he lost 56 pounds by feeding ghee. So ghee is not saturated fat. And I agree with you, we should not take saturated fat, but ghee is not that. Yes, we have a question on the back.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranams. Thank you so much for amazing class. I want to know the difference between consumed regularly versus occasional consumption, because yogurt is the one everybody say it is very good and you need to consume on a daily basis. And as much as without water, like buttermilk I see on the left side, but the yogurt, everybody says it has to be more thick, and you see more of people buying Greek yogurt versus normal yogurt. And they consume that and they give to kids thinking that's the only protein that you would consume on a daily basis. So if you can elaborate on that part, we would really appreciate it.
Thank you. So there are two parts to your question. One is yogurt is the only protein, and second, it has been promoted that it can be consumed more or regularly.
Daily basis.
Daily basis. Yeah, thank you. Jai Shri Radha Gopi Bhagwan ki.
Sure.
So I agree that yogurt should be consumed daily, but there is sometimes you miss out the main point, and which is not promoted in modern world. it is said yogurt which is made in a clay pot at night, that should be consumed the next day, and that kind of yogurt can be consumed daily, provided that milk which you get to make yogurt is from the cows who have been grazing in the field and giving the milk.
That's important.
That is-
We have Yashoda here. But
Yeah.
after that,
That is one. Second, in the Western world, in the Western traditional, I won't say traditional, but the Western concept of diet, most of it is meat based. And the human body becomes very difficult to digest the meat because of meat. The body has to produce a lot of acid. So one of the quality of yogurt is a coolant. So when they take that, it helps them to a certain extent. But as I said, yogurt, if you have to eat yogurt, it should be formed in a clay pot from the milk of a cow who is grazing throughout the day. And it has been milked between 4 and 7 o'clock in the evening. I can go more precise. Yeah. Yes, anything else? Yes,
what
Mataji.
about daily basis? Sorry about this.
Sorry.
And what do you would otherwise suggest? You cannot get in a daily basis the milk, which is. So is it advisable to not take in a daily basis, or you're saying?
So again, I've seen most of us who are here, they come from the eastern side of the world, most probably India. And yogurt is a daily meal, not throughout the India, especially in the southern part of India. And why? Because the southern part of India, sorry, yeah, it's not only summer. The southern part of India is more humid. It is surrounded by water body, and along, since the water comes from ocean, it carries a lot of salt in it. And the heat and the humidity extract every nutrition from the body. So if you see traditionally in Indian meal, the southern Indian meal is consistent of lot of fermented food. Yogurt is a fermented food. This fermentation of food helps the body to fight the heat. So the other option is that either you move to Texas or you wait till the time Farmington has temperature of 80s. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. I had a question. You touched upon, am I saying it right? Abhagya, the
Abhyanga,
oil.
yeah.
I have a question about that. I've got the oils, but I haven't used them because the question I have is, like when we sleep, I thought toxins come out of the body, so I don't know, do you put the oil on before you take a shower and rub more toxins into your body, or do you take a shower and then put the oils on? Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll answer your question in two parts. One is the when to apply the oil. That's what you said, right? Yeah. Okay. So the right time to apply the oil would be between 5 and 7, either in the morning or in the evening. So that is the time body naturally starts to eliminate the impurities. But when you apply the oil, that time the oil penetrates deeper. But after application of oil, you should take a shower.
How long do you leave the oil on?
For at least 30 minutes.
Can I ask another question?
Yes, please.
As far as seasonal fruits and seasonal vegetables, like what about in Michigan, January, February, March, there's nothing seasonal. Then what?
So in that case, fruits, as I said, like, it might not be in Michigan, but it might be around, let's say, apples. Apples grow when it is cold. So the nature, it has already made provisions. We just have to figure it out. I'll give you another example. In South, where I came from, in Texas, we have sugarcane. Even now, in my backyard, I have at least 4 to 5 sugarcanes standing there. But sugarcanes don't grow where it is snowing. So what nature has done, it has given the substitute of maple trees. So the sweetness in the south which you relish from sugarcane, in north the same sweetness can be relished from the maple trees, maple syrup. Like this, nature has given enough provisions for us. And when I say definitely in snow, where it's very snow, nothing grows. But there are some places where some fruit grows which can be consumed during the cold season. Those fruits can be always consumed. And since you asked the question about the Abhyanga application of oil, I happened to talk to Shiva Prabhupada disciples who are his secretaries and some sannyasis about application of oil when Prabhupada used to do it. And I got a confirmation, and I'm saying this since I have heard from the first hand, that Prabhupada didn't compromise on 2 things. One was application of oil, and second was his morning walk. So the Ayurvedic perspective of application of oil is that it gives your body enough strength. Imagine like the kind of schedule Prabhupada had. It's one day here, tomorrow somewhere else. Traveling throughout the globe for 13 times. When anyone does like that, the amount of air in the body, it's way too much disturbed. So the oil plays a very vital and important role. Yes, I hope.
And also, I was told that Srila Prabhupada said that mustard oil, which is good in the winter, Jayashree said that Prabhupada said that gives as much strength as eating meat. And I've also read that sesame oil is good for vata. Is that true?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And at the same time, I would just like to add to this. The Prabhupada, where Prabhupada had appeared, it was the eastern part of India. And in the eastern part of India, mustard oil plays a very, very vital role in their food also. But according to Ayurveda, sesame seed oil is not as hot as the mustard oil. And that can be always used during the cold season if mustard oil is not available. Hare Krishna. Any other question? Yes.
Regarding foods being very difficult to consume, but the experience is that when we have fruits, within 2 hours we are hungry, whereas compared to having grain meal, like it goes for longer time, 4 to 6 hours. How to understand that?
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to get clearly what you said. Can someone repeat?
You mentioned that fruits are, as per Ayurveda, anything raw is difficult to digest. But the personal experience is that whenever we consume fruits, within 2 hours we are again hungry.
Yeah. The reason why it happens is that let's say, name a fruit which you like to eat. Apple. Okay. At one point of time, how many apples can you consume? Right? Consuming 2 apples is equivalent to having 1 teaspoon of sweet rice. So if you eat 1 teaspoon of sweet rice, definitely after 2 hours you feel hungry. Right? And we need to understand all the fruits, majority of them, they has lot of water content in that. The actual pulp, except if you leave aside mangoes and bananas, things like that, the actual pulp is very less. So you might be feeling that, okay, this is a big apple, I'm eating it. But actually it is just this much. And that sets like an appetizer for you. And definitely after 2 hours, you feel like eating more. Okay. Yes,
Thank you for the wonderful class. I just had one question when you mentioned about the grains being in the field for a good period of time. What we see in today's world, a lot of people go gluten free because and then even in ISKCON, that's a prominent one. Most of the sannyasis, they try to avoid grains and that rather than that taking other things. So how can we answer that aspect?
You mean that people are avoiding grain or gluten? So I had given a seminar on gluten only for 3 hours. So basically, what is gluten? If you Google it, no, gluten is not a protein. Gluten is a sticky substance which is inside the wheat or a berry, which binds that thing. Therefore, since it is binding agent, it is a very heavy substance to digest. Now the problem is not with the gluten. The problem is with the lifestyle. Consuming 6 slices of pizza, I'm sitting in front of a computer, that's not going to get digested. Ayurveda doesn't say that, okay, you should have this much gluten or this much carb or this much protein. Ayurveda says if a digestion power is good, you can get nutrition from rocks also. No, I'm not exaggerating. If you want, take out your phone later on and look for clay cookies. Clay cookies. So this is a history, sorry. There's a documentary from Haiti, one of the islands. The people are very poor. And the kids, they eat clay cookies. Clay cookies are nothing else, but they mix clay and water and dry it out on the street. Sometimes they just add a little bit sugar to it. And the kids are eating that clay cookies for many generations. Yeah, there are videos available. And there is no sign or there is no report of malnourishment for the kids. People are blaming gluten. Gluten is not bad. I'm telling this on record. It's the way we consume it. One day I'm going to have pizza, next day I'm going to have pasta, third day I'm going to have bread, fourth day I'm going to have cheese with bread, fifth day I'm going to have cheese with bread plus XYZ. And the body is not able to digest all that. And when body is not able to digest all that, the first thing body does is to start retaliating against it. I'll give another example. Most of when kids come to me, the parents bring the kids to me, they say, my son or my daughter, they're allergic to milk, they're allergic to grains. And when they get the test done, they're allergic to at least 36, 37 things. So what the kid would eat? Problem is not with the allergy. The problem is most of the kids in this part of the world, They like to drink, eat cereal with cold milk. Grains are heavy. Milk is heavy when it is cold. When the child is continuously doing this, by the time the child reaches the age of 5 or 6, there is too much content of the gluten in the body. You name it, cookies, breads, pizzas, pastas, full with gluten. And all the kids, if you see, after the age of 6, 7, or 8, they start to show the sign of gluten intolerance. Why? For past 5 years, the body is tolerating this torture. And then for next 10 years, what we do? I'm not going to have gluten. And what happens when people don't have gluten? They get arthritis. The bone starts to lose the structure because the binding agent is not there. And if you want, I can give you resources. I'm not saying just based on what I have learned. I have resources for that. So remember, food does not cause problem. Problem is caused if you overeat. Problem is caused if you don't eat properly. And that's what have more complications. Okay? Harish. Yes.
That I felt personally.
I think I'm running over time. Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Personally, I can feel that when I first came to this country, I was having serious. There were a lot of problems. But after marriage, having fresh food, all the diseases went away.
Thank you.
So he came all the way from Houston to educate us on how we should eat, how we should sleep. So thank you very much, Prabhu, for coming. Let us express our gratitude. We're loudly chanting the Krishna Prabhu. As he announced in the beginning, he's available for consultation. I think his wife is sitting here. And if anyone wants to, meet and talk. So he's here only today, tomorrow is late. So today evening is a new class in Anantesvar also. So thank you for educating all of us. Very grateful.
Thank you, bro. Hare Krishna.
Is this Anantesvar?